nyuma ubu ngubu kugeza ubu
And then I'll speak of other killings that happened prior to the Gatumba one.
batubwira byinshi mu gihe twageze muri Congo kuko
They tell us about when we arrived in Congo as a nation.
byanditswe mu bitabo
There are things that are written in books.
hari ibintu biri muri mashive y'ababirigi
There
ngenda mbona
are things that are in the history books of Belgium.
ndetse n'abandi babonye bihari ushobora kubona nk'imanza zimwe baserwimbo bagiranaga n'abaturanyi muri za 2025.
And there are people who have lived the history. There are records of that.
Hanyuma hari ndetse n'ibindi tuzi bikurikirana n'amateka dukomora ku baturusha kubatutara.
There are other things that we know that we learn from people who have kept the history.
Izo ni sano genealogical archive nuko hari byinshi zigenda menya ku buzima bwacu bikuye kuri ba data.
There are many things that I learned about our lives, learning it from our fathers.
Ubushakashatsi narize data nziyize ariko hari ibintu byinshi cyane data ndusha ku mateka yacu.
I am a researcher. I'm educated. My father was not educated, but there are many things that I learned about our history from him.
Nirwa guhamagara kugira ngo anyigishe ni mwarimu wanje ku bintu byinshi cyane ku bijanye n'amateka yabo aho bagiye baba nuko babayeho ndetse n'ibyo banyuze mu Kenya.
I call him and then he educates me about the history of what they went through.
Ziko mu miryango yanyu mwese muzi par exemple ugenda mumenya par exemple ni ryari igisekuruza cya mbere cyageze muri kariya gace.
I know that in your families, you know when the first ancestor arrived in that part of the
country.
Or how did you arrive to that country? Many people that the thing that the most people agree with is that we arrived in that country before the borders were divided. We were in Congo before it was Congo.
So we
were in Congo before Congo. Because when we arrived in that country, it wasn't Congo. There's no doubt that we are Congolese because the country kept people while we were already there. But all the troubles that we encountered throughout the history came from people who are saying that that history is not true. Until today, it continues. I will come back.
Ariko byinshi zatangiye cyane cyane kuva muri za Murere nari cyo kumvikana ejo gute gusaza Manase kuri Amerika asubira muri ayo mateka sinyasubiramo.
Many things started during the war of Murere and I followed a topic discussion by somebody recently.
Ariko hari cyo twitwa zagiye biba mbere ariko byinshi zo kudutoteza zatangiye muri za Murere.
There are many things that happened prior to that, but most of the things that we went through started during the Murere war.
Hanyuma hatangira kuza amateka agamije kutwigizayo avuga ko tutari Abakongomani.
And then the history things started happening, coming saying that we're not Congolese and they were trying to push us out. Some of our neighbors started having that language. And they went up to the leadership. And the leadership heard them. And the laws that protected us started to change in the 80s by calling us visitors. Some of you who were there in the 80s, you can testify to that. They write us down in books saying that we're visitors. They refuse us from voting or even running for it. In 91, they refused for us to attend any national conferences. 1981, 82, they refused for us to go into any international conferences. And we know that the things that were talked about in that conference is what has led into what's going on today, saying that we're visitors.
Mu maresolution yavuyeho cyane ko iyo conference yari yobowe parlement yari cyo gihe yari yobowe na Nsuni Bembe ubwo muri Kivu ibyavuye bo bakuse amaresolution avuga ko turi abashitsi baje muri za Kivu batangira kwegera abantu kugira ngo barebe uburyo bazarepertoriye abashitsi n'ibyabo kugira ngo babatahishe.
The resolutions that were made from that conference was that we were visitors in that country, and they started to make ways so that they can kick us out of the country.
Izo ndabi benshi bazi ibyiswe ngo ni za rapport vangu.
Many people know what they call the report banku.
Rapport vangu ndabigarukaho cyane bigomba mu mateka cyane cyane uko igenda ibintu twembona kuri za YouTube nyinshi zabaye nyinshi. Nuko rapport vangu yasohotse muri mu kwa kane 1995.
The report bangu was released in April 95.
Ubwo ni umwaka urenga mbere yuko intambara ya FDL itangira.
That was a year before the war of FDLR started.
Ariko iyo rapport ndashishikariza abakunda gusoma n'abatabikunda ko bagomba kuyisoma kuko niyo yagaragazaga politike zanditse noneho zivuga ko turi abashitsi kandi tugomba kwiruka.
I would like to encourage every person to read that. That's where they were showing the politics. That was showing that we are not politics.
Ndabivuga kuko hari abapolisi yavuze kuvuga ngo ibintu zose dufite ubu zatewe n'intambara ziva mu baturanyi n'ibiki. Icyo gihe ibibazo z'abaturanyi zari bitaragera.
I'm saying this because there's an idea going on saying that every problem that we have is coming from our neighbors causing war in our country. The issues from Burundi to the other country, Rwanda, came into Congo later on, but we already had those issues in the country.
Nuko hari ibibazo byatuye abana
The reason why there's a writing saying that Abanyamulenge rebelled during that, it's because they were trying to defend themselves.
So ayo mateka yabanjirije Gatumba amwe.
These are some of the histories that came prior to Gatumba.
N'ibindi byinshi byagenda bigamije kutugira mu gihugu gisanzemo n'amateka mbere y'uko tuba.
Many other things that were happening that were trying to make us visitors in a country that came to be when we were already there.
Ngo tugere kuri Gatumba imwe ndaza kwiga kugira ngo tugere kuri Gatumba byagenze.
How did we arrive to Gatumba?
Yo ni ingingo ya kabiri navuze gusa.
That's the second point.
Turabizi ko amateka yo hafi yabanjirije Gatumba nuko habaye intambara i Bukavu.
We know that the history prior to Gatumba is that there was war in Bukavu.
Ikibazo cyatangiye ari ikibazo hagati cya gisirikare afite n'abasivili ndani.
It was a war between the military leaders.
Ikibazo cya Mbujamabe hagati ya Mbujamabe na Colonel Musareko.
It was a war between Mbujamabe and Mutebutsi.
Utari umunyamurenge datariwe.
Mutebutsi was a Munyamulenge, the other guy wasn't.
Ariko cyane bishingiye kuri n'ubwo n'ubundi yuko Mutebutsi n'abasana b'iteka ryose bitwaga abashitsi.
But also the point was that anyone who looked at like Mutebutsi, they were visitors in Congo.
Muri icyo kibazo rero cyagomba kuba cya gisirikare gusa biza kuviramo kwicwa kw'abaturage. The
issue was supposed to be between the military people, but it ended up affecting the civilians. We have many people who lost their lives. And then who was in north at that time, he came to Bukavu. Because of the killing of civilians at that time.
Bamwe baje za Rwanda abari hafi yaho abandi bari bishice za Uvira na Plaine baje muri
And then the conflict expanded in South Kivu, which is why some people went to Rwanda, other people went to Burundi, and the others went to different places.
Hindi babivuze abandi benshi cyakuyeho nuko bageze muri Gatumba ko byagenze nuko.
And you know what happened to those who fled to Gatumba?
Nashimira cyane igikorwa kandi kuko ababishinzwe bari bazi ko umunsi umwe uretse kuko twabavuze bazagera aho bakagira na memorial muri City Hall ya Edmonton.
I'd like to thank everyone who prepared this. We didn't know that even though we lost them, that there'll come a day when they could have a place like this in the city. 166 people were killed because of how they were created. I was looking at the names here. I see some people were like 78. Others were 1 year old.
someone who kills basically an innocent child who doesn't know if what is happening basically there. So abantu ijana na mirongo itandatu na batandatu
166 people.
muri none nuko ijana na mirongo itanu muri abo bari abanyamulenge
What we know is that 150 were Banyamulenge,
cumi na bane bari ababesi bari ku matanza hamwe n'abanyamulenge
14 were Babembe.
ibyo biri important cyane kuza nazo twisulinya kuko ndabona amazina yabo hano abo ni abantu batusize twe kuko twarebwe ariko ariko atari bo bari bagamije
It's
kwicwa
very important because those people died because of how we were created.
anerekana nuko mu gihe dushaka kurabera ko twakomeje kwibuka iteka ryose ko destiny yacu iri hamwe n'iy'abandi kuko twese twaremwe nk'abo.
Which also reminds us that whenever we seek justice, our destiny is the same just as everybody else.
hanyuma hari abantu babiri batashoboye kumenya abaribo
And there are two people who are unidentified.
mu gihe byarangiye kuba habaye amaraporo n'amakete yakozwe
After that, research was done, reports were given.
zibiri zizwi cyane zifite n'amaraporo yanditse abantu bose bashobora kubona nuko hari raporo imwe yakozwe na Human Rights Watch
The two, the well-known reports, were one of them was made by the Human Rights Watch.
indi yakozwe na umuryango w'abibumbye ushinzwe uburenganzira bw'ikiremwamuntu
The second one was made by
umuryango w'abibumbye uharanira uburenganzira bw'ikiremwamuntu
those people who are in charge of human rights office.
cyane cyane ihagarariwe n'imiryango ibiri yari kuri tene icyo gihe binagira tragedy y'agatumba gukomera kuruta ibindi nuko ubwicanyi bwabaye hari abarinzi b'amahoro muri Congo icyo gihe yari cyitwa MONUC
Especially because when the killing happened, there were people, peacekeepers who were in Congo at that time. It
bitwaga
was still called MONUC.
baje kwitwa MONUSCO nyuma
They were called the MONUSCO after.
ariko naho bahuye icyo gihe ntambara mu Burundi yatisa n'ijya kurangira ariko kugira icyo gihe naho hari abandi barinzi b'amahoro bitwaga MONUC
Even in Burundi at the time, there was also other peacekeepers at the time.
so ayo maraporo yakozwe agaragaza uburyo abantu bari mu bawe hase yabo abibumbye bakagombye kuba bahagarariwe cyangwa bararinzwe n'abarinzi b'amahoro muri Congo cyangwa mu Burundi yangezeho baricwa mu buryo tubizi.
The reports show that the people were in the hands of the UN at the time, and they were killed.
ayo maraporo kandi agaragaza abashobora kuba barabikoze ntabwo yemeza ijana ku ijana ariko agaragaza bashobora kuba barabikoze
It doesn't say 100% who did it, but it shows those people who did it.
niyo nyuma hari abaje kuziyemera bonyine ko babikoze
And that is when they came and they proclaimed themselves that they did it.
ababemeye harimo FNL ya Agathon Rwasa cyane cyane zemewe na Pasteur Habimana
Those who said that they do it include Agathon Rwasa.
ariko mu maraporo agaragaza ko hari n'aba Maimai barimo
But the report includes that there were also Mai Mai from Congo,
cyane cyane ko igitero cyari kivuye Congo
especially since the attack came from Congo.
Paul avuga kandi ko hari abantu bavuga ikinyarwanda yavuga ko hari abantu ba FDLR icyo gihe
The report says that there are people who are speaking Kinyarwanda who are from the FDLR
amaraporo
army.
akanakeka ko bashobora kuba bari bashigikiwe n'amarema y'ingabo za Congo z'icyo gihe
And also the report shows that they were supported by the Congolese.
ayo maraporo kandi agaragaza impamvu iyo atake yabaye
The reports also show why the attack happened.
bivuga ko ibyo abantu bavugaga ko bamwe basabaye barabiyumviye bavuga ko bashaka kwica kubera bikora abatutsi
Some of the survivors heard it themselves. The report says that they were killing them because they were Tutsi.
so babicaga kubera uko baremwe
They were killing them because of how they were made, they were created.
nyuma y'uko bibaye tumaze imyaka dukora ubwicanyi bwinshi ariko nkatwe twari ubushakashatsi tumaze kubireba kenshi ntabwo ndi bwa bwicanyi bwabaye condemned n'umuryango mpuzamahanga w'ubwicanyi bwo mu Gatumba
Many other killings have happened to us, but there's no other killing that has been condemned by the international community as much as the Gatumba one.
hari abantu ku giti cyabo ariko cyane cyane hari ibihugu ndetse n'imiryango mpuzamahanga cyangwa n'imiryango mpuzabitsina yakondanye ibyabaye
There are individuals
Yeah,
who condemned what happened in Gatumba, but especially the human rights people condemned it.
mu babikondanye bakoreshaga amagambo atatu ari ngombwa cyane kugarukaho
Those who are condemning it, they were using 3 words that are very important.
tunaza kugaruka kuri bamwe kuko ari ngombwa
I'm gonna come back to them because they're very important.
ariko bemeraga bavugaga ibintu bitatu
But they were speaking about 3 things.
bavuga ko ubwo bwicanyi ari indangakamere ari agahomamunwa
They were saying that the killing is
atrocious or
it's atrocious.
horrendous amagambo asa nayo. Bakavuga ko bishwe kuba ari abanyamulenge
They were saying that those who were killed, they were killed because they were Banyamulenge.
kandi hafi ababivuga bose bavuga ko ari abanyamulenge ari abakongomani.
And they were all of them. They were saying that Banyamulenge are Congolese.
Nazo ni important kuko nitugaruka ku biba none nabyo ngo biracyari
It's important because we're gonna come back to what's happening today. We're still having that issue.
cya gatatu nanuze bitatu wenda cya kane nuko hafi bose amakomunike yose yakozwe bavuga ngo hagomba kuba ubutabera kandi tuzabushyigikira kandi tuzakorana nabo n'abagamije
The third thing is that the statements that were made, it was that there should be justice and we will support it.
mfite amasalari ageze ku 15 y'amasample gusa agaragaza ugiye kuyaja muri yose abo bantu bose bagiye bavuga.
I have about 15 slides showing those people who are going to support the justice.
Sinfite umwanya wo gusoma ariko abo barimo ka UN Security Council,
I don't have time to read it, but that would include the UN Security Council,
harimo Presidence ya Union Européenne,
the presidency of the European Union,
hari Peace Council ya African Union.
there's the Peace Council of African Union.
Murambabarira abatumva ibirimi z'amahanga hari bimwe nanjye ntasobanura.
Forgive me, I can't translate that in Nyamulenge.
And harimo za US State Department.
The US State Department.
Ese turazibona nyuma na sera President Bush ku giti cye niwe wari president muri Amerika.
We're going to hear from the president at the time in America.
Hari biri important hano Ministre w'ububanyi n'amahanga wa Canada.
The foreign minister of Canada.
Pierre Pitegru.
At the time, his name was Pierre. It is important that I read a little bit of it.
The government of Canada strongly condemns this attack, and the citizens of Canada join me in expressing their condolences to the families of the victims. Such occurrences is a reminder that just fragile these processes in the African Great Lakes countries requiring sustained effort from the international community. The protection of civilians is fundamental and must be the focus of attention of parties concerned. We are anxious that the investigation of the United Nations mission to the Democratic Republic of Congo and the United Nations operation Burundi shed light on this tragedy and those responsible be brought to justice as quickly as possible. So bavugaga muri make cyo nashaka nuko na Canada murimo mpamvu yo ngisomye nuko nza kuba koronyo uzoze kwibuka iyi sheke Canada yatanze uzaje kubaza Canada aho iyo sheke igeze.
So the reason why I read this is because this is a specific specific to Canada, and you should follow up with your leaders and see where this has gone.
Ibibazo bindi kaza France zakundanye
France condemned it, England did, Netherlands.
kandi abo ni abayobozi hejuru.
Those are leaders of the high part in Belgium.
Ububirigi.
In Belgium.
Ariko imba mu statement ugomba kureba ku izindi yakozwe na Thabo Mbeki, umwe mu bayobozi bakomeje kuba consistent mu buryo bavuga ikibazo cyacu. Icyo gihe niwe wari perezida wa Afrika y'Epfo.
But the one that I would like to focus on is the statement from the South African president at the time.
Thabo Mbeki.
Thabo Mbeki.
Yaravuze ngo the only fault of the dead was that they were Banyamulenge. A mindless and criminal hatred drove the killers to carry out unpardonable crime against humanity. Or they hated for the fact that Banyamulenge were Banyamulenge. The murderers viewed the mere fact that Banyamulenge exist as human beings as unacceptable. Therefore, they took it upon themselves to commit cold-blooded murder to ensure that Banyamulenge cease to exist. So we got genocide of the times. Now, promise being ariko yagaragaje ubuningira kamere kwica abantu kubera uko baremwe.
But I can continue, but he was showing how people were killing others just because of how they were created.
Mpuzamahanga za International Human Rights Watch bafite nabo amatangazo.
Human Rights Watch also made an announcement.
African News icyo gihe.
African News.
Ndetse n'abantu bashinzwe intwaro zakoreshejwe nabo batanze amatangazo. Ndetse n'amaorganisation muzi kuva kera ngo za FIDH z'uburenganzira bw'ikiremwamuntu mu Bufaransa.
It's a different organization at the time.
abantu benshi bamaganye ivyabaye ndetse dusaba ko ubutabera bwakorwa bwakorewe abaturage kandi babita abakongomani.
Many people the condemned what happened, and they also demanded the justice for what happened to the Banyamulenge, because they're saying that they're not Congolese.
Ni iki kimaze gukorwa kugira ngo izo bavuze bikurikiranwe tukaza kubigarukaho mu kanya
What has been done since after they said those things?
Well, there's a highlight during the time. Ziko haragenda cyane.
I know that we're using our
Mu
time.
ngingo ya gatatu mbere ko ya kane y'ubutabera,
Let me go back on the third part.
ndavuga uburyo turebera kandi mu muri Gatumba mu mateka maremare na nabivuze mbere, ariko cyane muri politike zo guhezwa kw'abanyamurenge zabaye kera ariko n'ibigenda bivuga ubu.
I would like us to look at what happened to Gatumba through the history of
Hari ibyo navuze mbere
the things that I said earlier,
kuva kuri Murere,
starting from Murere,
amategeko yagiye akorwa,
the laws that were made,
role yagiye igirwa n'abayobozi bo mu karere,
roles that the leaders of the area had, and what the neighbors thought,
z'amaraporo kazavanga kugira ngo gere aho zageze,
the reports that were made by Bangu,
kandi zatumye abanyamurenge bagenda bitwara uburyo bagiye bitwara.
and how Banyamulenge carried themselves through that.
Ariko kuva intambara ya AFDL ibaye, hari abantu bihaye kuvuga gusa ko bagomba gufasha abanyamurenge igihe cyose ndetse bakabamaraho muri solution ku bibazo.
Since the war of after, there are people who made it their goal to kill Banyamulenge at all times and finish them.
Banavuga ko igisubizo ku bibazo bya Congo.
And they said the killing the Banyamulenge was the answer to the issues that Congo was having.
Hari imvugo yavutse ubu ndetse no kugenda mbona na bamwe muri bene wacu bamaze gufata bavuga ko ubwicanyi tugenda duhura nabwo hari n'uburyo twabwiteye kuko twishoye mu ntambara zitazwi turakontroye akaba arizo zituma twica.
There is a language that's going around that I've noticed even in our people, saying that we have put ourselves in the wars that we don't know where they came from, and that's one of the reasons that's why we're being killed.
Ndetse ni amakosa yacu kuba twica.
And it is our fault that we're being killed
Kubanza twitwara.
because of the way we carry ourselves.
Abanyakongo benshi barabivuga,
Many leaders of Congo say that.
hari n'abantu bamwe muri twe bose bagenda bafata iyo
There are people among us who are taking on the idea.
ariko navuze ko hano bazi intambara za Murere,
I know that, but I said that the people are older than me. They know that the war of Murere.
abazi za raporo zabaye mbere y'izo ntambara za,
Those who know the report from Bangu, the Bangu report.
abazi uburyo zavugwaga igihe bene wacu bitwaga za Burundi n'imvugo bavugagaho babagirana
Those who know the language that was being used when our people were being killed in Burundi.
igihe batwitaga amazina ntasi za Uvira muri za 1993 na kane.
In 93, 94, when they were calling us names in Uvira,
Ibyo si ibibazo zari bivuye hanze, ni ibibazo byari muri Congo.
those were not issues coming from outside. Those were issues that were in Congo.
Ariko nyuma y'uko intambara rero ya AFDL ibaye ndetse n'iya nyuma ya 1998,
And then when the war in 98 happened,
siko hagiye haba ubwicanyi bugamije kurimbura bene wacu.
you know that there were wars specifically designated to destroy our people.
Sinshobora kuvuga amazina y'ahantu henshi twari benshi bari aho ngaho bari hano.
I know that many among you know different parts of the country where the wars happened.
Ubwicanyi bwabaye za Uvira, za Kamanyola, za Kabera,
The killing that happened in Uvira, Kamanyola, Kabera,
za Bukavu, Kinshasa,
Bukavu, Kinshasa, Vura,
za Kamina, aho abasirikare magana bafatwaga bagasogorwa.
coming now where hundreds of soldiers.
Buri muntu azi umuntu wishwe bagashimira kuvuga.
Every person knows a person who was killed in this way.
Ndibwira ko biratangaza hano hari ikomeye nyinshi batetse icyo gihe.
And it wouldn't surprise me that many people here have the wounds that they got from that time.
Abo ni abantu bagiye bicwa kimwe n'uko abantu bishwe muri Gatumba bazi ko baremwe.
Those are people who are being killed the same way that the people in Gatumba were killed because of how they were created.
Kuko icemberwa mu mategeko y'intambara
Because what is accepted in the rules of war,
iyo umusirikare arimo arwana n'undi musirikare
when a soldier is fighting another soldier,
hari amategeko agenga uburyo umusirikare yakwica undi musirikare kandi nta kuri.
there are laws that govern how a soldier can kill another soldier.
Mu gihe umusirikare atarazamura amaboko
If a soldier hasn't raised their arms,
umusirikare yemewe kumurasa
and the other soldier is allowed to kill
yazi ko yibwira ko umusirikare nawe yamurasa.
because they feel like the other soldier can kill them.
Ariko umuturage usanga nta mpamvu yakagombye kugira.
But a civilian, there's no reason, there's no justification as why to kill them.
Cyangwa amagana y'abasirikare bari mu kambi barimo batraininga nta mpamvu wakagombye kubatwara uburyo kubica kubera yuko barimo bitirwa bene wabo.
Or hundreds of soldiers who are in a training camp have no reason to take their weapons away from them.
Abantu
They
bose
kill them just because of who they are.
kubera ko bari bivuze.
All of those people are killed because of who they are.
Iyo ni mu ntambara za kiziko kuva muri za 1996 za 1998
Starting from the 60s, 1969 and 80s,
za 1998 murabizi zafuwe n'abantu ba Erosia
1998, you know what happened?
ububirigi bwibera kulansa mandare contre minisitiri w'ububanyi n'amahanga wa Congo kubera ikigo cy'urwango igamije abanyamulenge n'abatutsi.
You know that the Belgium
I one time launched an arrest warrant against Yehudi and Abbasi in 2000 because of what he said against the Banyamulenge and the Tutsi. Yeah, it's not even divided.
those are the things that have about 80% of the habitat that of Banyamulenge.
Ubu bari concentré mu hantu hake cyane
Now they're concentrated in a very small place.
ma enclave ari mu Mirembe so hagati
In
na
Mirembe
akantu gato cyane
or in that's something very small.
kandi hose zakozwe hicwa abantu basenya imihana bafata ibyabo ndetse banangaza abarokotse.
All of that happened as they were killing people. They were looting them. They were taking their homes and then
Displacing them
they were displacing.
to flee, forcing them to flee. Ibyo byose bwicanyi kanagenda buherekezwa n'imvugo y'urwango. Ndabona mufite ijambo genocide rero ryari bigenda biherekezwa ndetse umuriro watwa n'imvugo y'urwango.
Everything that was happening was being followed by the speech of hate, of genocide.
Natangiye kwiga ku bijyanye n'imvugo y'urwango kuko ikoreshwa kuva muri 2019 ariko ziko yatangiye kera cyane bamwe tusaravuga.
I started studying the language of hate or genocide.
No, hate speech.
Hate speech against Banyamulenge in 2019.
Muri 2022 je n'umugenzi wanjye twa icyandiko twasohoye igaragaza uburyo gikorwa icyo bigabije ndetse muri iyo mvugo y'urwango abakiri bato nashaka gusoma.
In 2022, my friend and I released a report showing how the hatred comes to be and how it's arranged. For those who, I would encourage everyone to read that.
Se muzo ngiye kuvugaho mu kanya gato byase ubutabera byo bundi narindira ko narangije bijanye n'ibyo gusaba ubutabera nawe bigaragaza uburyo iyo mvugo y'urwango igenda ihinduka buri gihe cyane cyane bihabivuga.
Recently, I wrote another report showing how the ideology or the language of hatred changes over time.
Byinshi bigenda bigaragaza ko Abanyamulenge ari abashitsi ari abagome bashaka kwigarurira ubutaka bw'abakongomani ariyo mpamvu bagomba kwicwa cyangwa kwangana.
Many show that Banyamulenge are visitors, they're bad people, and they're trying to steal the land of Congo, so they must be killed.
Kera ibyo ni ibintu byakorwaga na bake ariko hafi abantu bose basigaye babikoresha ndetse n'abantu bari muri politiki bamwe bakabigororerwa kuko babikoresha aho hantu kuko
Long time ago, it was a few people who had that kind of mindset, but now even the leadership, they have the same mindset as they're using.
Nigeze kwerekana mu nyandiko kimwe uburyo kera umuntu witwa Honore Ngwanda ari wakunda kuvuga ibyo bintu abandi bapolisiye ba Congo bose bakavuga ngo yarasaze bakamuseka ariko ubu ngubu abakongomani bose batabira n'abandi benshi n'abandi bari mu myanya barabikoresha kandi nta ngaruka.
A long time ago, there was someone called
Honore Ngwanda
who used to talk about that. But now it used to call me crazy, but nowadays people in high places within the government are using the same language.
ubutabera ni iki rero kuri none?
So what is
Mwanya wa-
justice?
ni ubuhe butabera bwashoboka kuri ibi?
What is the possible justice?
Nabasomeye imwe mu ma declaration yagiye akorwa bavuga ngo nyuma y'ubwicanyi mu Gatumba bavuga ngo zanze bikunze enquête zigomba gukorwa bakoze bakabihanirwa.
I read to you some of the speeches that were saying the justice must be given to what happened in Gatumba.
Ivyinshi rero izo zagiye bivugwa
Many things that were said,
zavuzwe n'abantu bakoreshwa na leta.
they were said by people who are used by emotion.
Hati koko baba bacu baba n'abandi
Whether our people or others,
zarabakanze zabaye.
they were very shocked by what happened.
Am I getting late? 2 minutes, okay. Ariko
But
nyuma yaho abenshi nta nkurikizi yabaye.
after that, many of them did not follow up.
Ikigaragara ubutabera muri Kongo buragoye cyangwa umurenge buragoye cyane cyane ko ubutabera bufuye mu karere cyane cyane abakagoze ndavuga cyane abagombye gusanga ubutabera buzajya mu Gatumba no Burundi cyangwa Kongo.
I'm saying that it's very hard to get the justice because there's no justice in the countries that are supposed to give that justice.
Cyaha bareba aho cyabereye cyangwa aho abakorera bakomoka bo bakagombye gutanga ubutabera ariko ibyo bizobe zaragerageza zashoboka.
The killing, the country that the killing happened in, it should give the justice same as the country of where the victims came from, but none of that has been done.
Dekorasiyo ya kabiri twakoze muri Gatumba 2006 tugiye kera nari Lahe twayikoreye muri Lahe dufite abantu bo mu rukiko mpuzamahanga bwa mbere dutangira kubabwira ngo bazadufashe gushaka ubutabera.
The second commemoration that we had in 2006, we had people in high places who would be able to seek justice for us.
Muri 2024
In 2024,
Fondasiyo Gatumba benshi barabizi abayirimo hano
the Gatumba Foundation
yatanze amakuru muri urwo rukiko ndetse hari n'abandi babikoze mbere basaba gukurikiza.
they gave a report in to seek justice.
Ejo bundi navuze ibindi byaha bigenda byagiye biba henshi cyane cyane biheruka kuba ejo yanagomba kuba hano jewe abandi barahuye Lahe bongera batanga ikindi kirego gusa n'ico barigiha urukiko mpuzamahanga.
Recently, another report was given seeking justice.
Simbajana mu matekikalite yavyo ariko icyo bakora si kirego complete batanga amakuru basaba procureur kuja gukomeza iyo case bakayenyegeza.
So they give the report or the information asking for justice.
Ntabwo bivuga ko bikunze kuba zaduha justice.
It doesn't mean that they will give us justice, whatever.
Ariko icyatuma baduha justice ndangiza
But the reason that's why they will give us justice
bizakurikirana n'imbaraga zacu gushaka iyo
will
justice.
come from our strength and how we're seeking the justice.
Kenshi cyane biba ari imyaka mirongo myinshi cyane
Sometimes it could take decades and many years,
ariko justice ikatinda ikaba.
but justice comes in the end.
Umuntu wakoze hate speech ngize nakoze kuvuga bigera guhungira hano witwa Leon Mugesera yaraje hano mu myaka 20 arwanya kuba yakoherezwa kujya gusesura justice irananira kugeza mu nkiko zo hejuru hano kuri Canada koherezwa mu Rwanda kujya gushika urubanza.
There's a person who had fled to Rwanda, to Canada after doing that kind of hate speech, and it took decades for him to be brought to justice.
Leon Mugesera niwe wabwiye kuvuga ngo abatutsi bazakohereza muri Ethiopia babanyuze muri Nyabarongo.
Leon Mugesera is the one who said that they were going to send the Tutsis to Ethiopia through Nyabarongo.
Nigeze kuja muri gereza fungiwe ndamubona mbona uburyo justice is.
A couple of years ago, I visited the jail that he's in, and I was able to see how justice.
Ibyo zabaye nyuma y'imyaka 25 irenga.
That was after 25 years of
Hari imbaraga kugira ngo bishoboke.
but there's power that was put in there so that this
Aya
can be
makomunike
given.
n'abantu benshi kugira ngo ababikurikirana n'abagira urusaku benshi kugira ngo amahanga twumve jewe iwewe twese.
All of us, each one of us has a right, a voice to be able to add to that. So
Abavoka Lahe bakora ibintu bimwe ariko atari urusaku rwanyu nta aktivisme yanyu no kuza ahantu ngaha kwibutsa meya kwibutsa government ya Canada n'abandi kubikora aho bari ntabwo ubutabera bwashoboka.
the lawyers can do their part, but if you, the people, do not make the noise or remind the government, remind the mayor, nothing can be done.
Ndangiza bare ko natinze
As I finish,
n'umukoro navuze mbaha. Ndangiza n'umukoro navuze mbaha
as I finish,
kandi mwiha
this is
nuko
what I'm gonna share with you.
ngo umwanya wacu kugira ubwoko bwacu rimwe ubwo dukunda kuba abanaliste twese tukareba kuki nakatagize gutya kuki nakatagize gutya je nakoze iki.
I know that our people, we tend to point fingers and wait for somebody to do something, but we should be asking ourselves, what have I done?
Mbere yuko je nakoze iki.
Before I look at the other person, I should ask myself, what have I done?
Twese tugomba gukorera muri lane imwe
All of us should not work in the same lane.
ariko twese buri umwe mu mwanya we umupasiteri umuturagutanga
A
umwesha
pastor, a student, every civilian, you know, you have a job to do.
kandi kubwira abato cyane nta mwanya mfite nizere ko nzabona umwanya abato cyane hari byinshi ugomba kwiga ariko kuba arimo imbaraga z'ejo hari byinshi ugomba kugahaha ayo makuru menshi kugira ngo hari umwana bitegura mu gihe twebwe turangiza.
The young people, you have many things to learn so that you can continue to seek justice when the older
ubushakashatsi bwose yo gushaka n'amazina y'abantu bose
That is
nta kintu cyanshimishe nk'iki.
that is why we should have to do the research to find everybody's name. This made me so happy to see everyone's names.
Ziko zoroshe cyane ariko ndashaka mu bushakashatsi butaha biroroshye cyane muri systeme yacu y'amakuru n'ibindi biroroshye kubona liste y'abanyamurenge bose bishaka yose bawo.
It is easy to see the list of all the Banyamulengo people.
hanyuma tuzahore iteka dusukirira amahanga izabituberaho.
Let's do the research so that we can have the proper remembrance.
ubu niwo gukorana bahaye Imana ibafashe kandi
Let's living with you. May God bless you
bikore meza.
and continue to be strengthened.
Prof Felix arakoze cyane.
Thank you, Professor.
Tugiye amakuru menshi
You have shared us many things,
ndetse anatubwiye n'aho ubutabera bugeze kuri ubu ngubu.
and he shared us where we are in seeking justice.
Hanyuma anaduhaye n'umukoro buri wese agenda agakora.
He has left an assignment for each one of us.
Hari abantu baje twabuze kwakira.
There are people who came after we had welcomed everybody.
Twatumiye hari uwo muri Africa Center Edmonton.
Those that we have invited, there's somebody from African Center at Edmonton.
Representative wabo Emmanuel
The representative is Emmanuel.
wahaguruka.
Please stand up so we can welcome him.
Akoze cyane.
Thank you very much.
Ndetse hari n'uwo muri African Canadian Civic Engagement Council.
There's somebody from the African Canadian Civic Engagement Council,
Represented by Calvin.
being represented by Kelvin.
Murakoze cyane.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
Ndetse hari uhagarariye Memory Keepers will be represented by Emily.
And there's Emily represented the memory keepers.
Akoze kwabo.
Thank you.
Tugeze mu wundi mwanya
We have come to another time,
ndetse n'abandi bose baje bakereje mwese ni karibu.
and those who came later on.
Tugeze mu wundi mwanya abahamya babaye muri ibyo bintu.
As we have told you, there are people who have lived through these things and they're going to give their testimony.
Rero tugiye guhereza umwanya
We're going to give them time to share.
kuko twabibabwiye ntabwo ari ubwicanyi bwabereye mu Gatumba gusa.
As we said, it's not just the killing that happened in Gatumba.
Abandi nabo bo mu bigo kuko nabo baza kutubwira.
There are people from Jibogobogo who are going to share with us what they have gone through.
Tugiye guhera ku ba survivors of Gatumba.
We're going to start with the survivors of Gatumba.
Basabe batahuke
Let me ask them to come.
iminota yabo barayizi.
They know the time that they have.
Basabe bose baze
Please, everyone, come.
abantu bari buvuge baraza.
Those who are going to share, they know themselves.
Kandi nk'uko nababwiye mbere ukeneye emotional support mube hafi
Anyone who needs emotional support, please be near to them.
cyangwa se abaprotocole nabo muze kuba hafi.
And actors, please be near to them.
So that we may be able to say our testimony correctly. From this listening. Let me ask Pastor Robert to.
duciye bugufi muri uyu mwanya uremerereye umutima amateka yashaririye mu mitima yacu imyaka twabuzemo abo dukunda abo tuvukana abo dusangiye amaraso nanone turi mu mwanya wo kubaha agaciro kubibuka turasaba kugira ngo umwami ubane natwe kuko ni wowe wakomeza imitima ni wowe wadusubiza mu intege abavandimwe bagiye kuvuga turabasabira imbaraga turabasabira ihumure babe hafi kuko witwa Emmanuel Imana iri kumwe n'abayo ubashoboze usubize ibyiringiro mu mitima yabo bizera kwabo ko iri hamwe bizere ko umunsi umwe uzabona bene data turagushima nk'umubana nabo kandi tugakomeza mu izina ry'Yesu.
Thank you very much.
Mbere ndabashimira mwebwe mwese mwabasha kubona kandi abantu bose
Thank you everyone who was able to be here today.
Imana ibahe
May God bless you.
ikindi kandi ntanze mvuge
And I also would like to give my condolences
ku muryango wose w'abanyamurenge
to the family of Banyamulenge,
cyane cyane abacitse mu gatumba
especially those from Gatumba.
ubuhamya bwanjye ndabutangira imbere gatoya
I'm going to start my testimony prior to Gatumba a little bit.
muri 1998
1998,
bapanze jenoside
they planned a genocide
muri Zuru
in Viura.
bafata abantu bose
They took everybody,
babashyira mu makanisa no mu masomo no mu bitaro
they would put them in the churches and in schools.
aho hantu nari mpari
I was there at that time.
haza umugabo wanashaka
And then people came to the rescue.
baza kudukura aho ngaho hantu hari hari hasigaye umunsi umwe gusa ngo batwice
They rescued us just in time. We only had one day before they were gonna kill us.
ubu ni jewe
That was me.
2004
2004,
mu kwezi kwa gatandatu
in June,
habaye intambara i Bukavu
when there was war in Bukavu,
y'abasirikare
the war between soldiers in Bukavu,
ariko batangira gucura abaturage
they started killing civilians.
bamaze kuvuga ko bari kwica abaturage
After they said that civilians are being killed,
abantu batangira kubunga
people start to flee.
ico gihe jewe nari mbyaye
At the time I had just given birth,
uyu mwana turi kumwe
and my daughter here.
n'ubu abandi batangiye guhunga kare
People started to flee,
ariko twe twagiye dutize
but we stayed a little bit.
kuva Uvira tuja mu Gatumba
From Uvira to Gatumba.
mu Gatumba twahamaze amezi abiri
We were in Gatumba for 2 months.
ukwezi k'umunani
In August,
hari abantu bari bafashe Kalemi
there are people that they had captured in Kalemi.
bari bari mu mupaka
My father was among them.
igihe cyose twahagaze tuhunga papa ntabwo twabaga turi kumwe.
Every time we fled from war, our father was never with us.
ariko twaza tugira nyine ico gihe nawe arapfa ntabwo bapfa
At the time with that, he was going to be killed just like everybody.
kwivanira azi kumurinda arashika dusanga mu Gatumba twari turi
But God protected him and he was able to come to Gatumba where we were.
ukimara gushika
As soon as he arrived,
yaratwicaje
he sat us down.
aratubwira ngo ntabwo twaguma hano
He said, we cannot stay here.
tuzozamuke tuje ruguru
We should go to Minemba, to the mountain.
ariko ico gihe aho ngaho mu Gatumba twari turi hari habaye ubusuku budasanzwe
At that time in Gatumba, there was a revival happening.
aranyihanganira hari hariho ubuzuke budasanzwe.
There was a great revival.
Umunsi umwe mu gitondo haza gusenga umubyeyi yaranapfuye.
One morning, the lady prayed, she passed away.
Kamupanga abamuzi.
Many people know her.
Aravuga ngo twihane.
She said, let us repent.
Ngo itorero rigiye kugenda.
And he said, let us repent because the church is going to be taken.
Mu minsi itatu ntiyashize.
3 days did not pass,
nuko niko batangiye kurasa.
and that's what happened.
Uwo munsi jewe ryari ryanashushiwe cane.
At that time, I had a high fever.
Hari hariho igiterane abanyeshuri bagendaga gukora ukwezi k'umunani c'agashimwe.
There was a gathering of Thanksgiving.
Ico giterane cari kubera i Bujumbura muri Gereza des Arts.
That conference was supposed to happen in Bujumbura in Gerizo.
Nuko habaye nimugoroba
So the evening came,
turaryama.
we went to bed.
Maze kuba mu masaha yine
About 10 p.m.,
ngo batangiye kurasa.
we started hearing gunshots.
Ariko bari baratubwiye
But they had told us
ntituzatwumva amasasu tuzatumenya ko bagiye kwiba inka zacu. Ikibuga cari kiri iruhande rwacu.
there was a cows around next to the refugee camp, and they had told us that whenever you hear gunshots, it's just people trying to steal the cows.
Subiye inyuma gatoya
If I go back a little bit,
hari umudamu w'abasinzira wari uhari.
there's a lady from the house of Basinchira.
Yari atwite
She was pregnant.
aja koga nijoro.
She went to take a shower at nighttime.
Yagarutse atoze
She came back without taking the shower.
avuga ngo asanga abandi ntibamwima ngo kandi ni benshi.
She said she found a group of people.
Abagabo mu bwo nguko abagore.
She said it was men and women.
N'ubwoba bw'abagore.
Or men said that it's just women being fearful.
Ariko agishika gutya nagira ngo abo ngabo bamubonye yinjira niba baratekereje ngo agiye kuvuga amakuru.
I think the people saw her entering. Maybe they thought she was gonna snitch.
Ubwo batangiye kurasa.
That's when they started shooting.
Babanje kurasa ubwa mbere baraceceka.
They started shooting and then they stopped.
Ngo bari bababwiye ngo aho ngaho mu kambi hari abasirikare bamuteye umunsi.
They said that they had told them that there was some soldier within the camp.
Noneho batumvisha abandi babashubije.
So when they started shooting and they stopped and there was no response back,
Noneho bama barasa ubudahagarara.
they realized that there was nobody in the help.
Uko barasa niko baririmba.
As they were shooting, they were singing.
Abandi niko bavuga ngo Imana yatugabije bano banyamulenge.
Others were saying that God has given us a Banyamulenge.
Bakoresheje imbunda zikuru.
They use different guns, big guns.
Amagerenade.
They use grenades.
Machine gun.
They use machine guns.
Uko batangiye kurasa.
When they started shooting,
Mw'ihema twari turimo twebwe.
the tent that we're in,
Harimo umuryango wacu nyine.
there was my family,
Bavuga ngo muhire.
there was my uncle's family,
Hari harimo umuryango wambaye bazabakiriza n'umugore.
there was another family, Sebakiza and Nzabakiza and his wife,
Hari harimo umuryango wa Manase
the family of Manasseh
na Benyamini.
and Benjamin.
Noneho batera grenade kwa Manase.
So they threw a grenade at Manasseh's family.
Apfa Manase n'umugore n'umwana.
Manasseh and his wife and child died.
Hasigara akana kamwe nako bakoresha kuvuga.
Their little daughter was left, but her arm was shot,
N'agakurikiye.
and her older sister.
Ubwo barongera batera iyindi grenade.
And they also threw another grenade.
Niyo yamfashe ku kuboko.
That's what hit my arm
Mu nda.
and my stomach.
Kugira ngo niyo
I think that's also the one that touched Janti's arm.
Anambwira papa ngo wangashe.
So I told my father that I've been shot.
Aravuga ngo kubera ko hakiri amasasu menshi.
He said because there's still a lot of bullets going on.
Ihangane.
Spare with it.
Arambaza ngo ariko akasima.
But he asked me, are the kids okay?
Aramubwira ati simbizi kubera ngo umwana ari ariceceka.
But I said, I don't know if they're okay. I saw the baby crying and they stopped. But I don't know if they're still alive.
Ukanya.
After a while, so my sibling from my uncle's side, they shot her, but they shot her leg.
Aravuga ngo nibakurabire.
And she said, please tie my leg.
Papa aramubwira ngo ntabwo ushobora kubona amasasu wayihangana amasasu aje hejuru.
But my dad said we cannot come because of there's so many bullets.
Arihangana mu by'ukuri.
And she bore with it.
Nuko barakomeza bararasa.
They continued shooting.
Noneho hagera aho bavuga ngo bagiye gutwika amahema.
It came a time when they said that they were going to set the tents on fire.
Bavuze ko bagiye gutwika amahema.
Once they said that they're going to set the tent on fire,
Niho uwo murumuna yavuze ati ntabwo dushobora noneho kandi dushoboye kugenda amahoro.
my younger sibling said we cannot be burned alive when we're able to walk.
Reka duhaguruke dusohoke.
Let us just leave the tent.
Ariko inyuma yacu hari abari basohotse baca inyuma y'ihema batsatuye.
Behind us, some people had hacked through the tent and they were able to go out.
Niho baza baca.
That's where they were going through.
Nyuma yaho
After that,
haza kuza umuntu kuri abo bicaye.
a person came among the killers.
Noneho aratubaza ngo se muracari hano.
He was coming and asking, are you still here? Are you still alive?
Ubwo nyine yatubajije nyine muri uru rurimi nyine gusa.
He was asking us in this language that I'm speaking.
Noneho twese turabona ko twicara.
All of us said, yes, we're still here.
Ariko ntitwari tuzi ko ari umwicanyi.
But we didn't know that he was one of the killers.
Uko inkambi zari zimeze.
The way the tents were set up,
Ni ikintu nyine cy'igihangari nyine kidafite. Ni igihangari nyine bageze basaturamo utwuma.
it was just a big tent divided into little parts.
Kubera ko abantu bari benshi.
But because there's so many people,
Yewe ndasubira batera muri hallway reka
I was sleeping in the hallway. My mattress was in the hallway
n'abana.
with my children.
Ndi umuntu yavuze ngo turi hano.
When that person was asking, are you guys here?
Umaze kwikiriza niwe yamashini ndageze mu byaro.
And then when we said, yes, we're here, the person set the gun right in the doorway.
Y'amaraso without stop.
They started shooting without stopping.
N'abari bazima. N'abari bazima bari barashwe ariko bari bazima.
Even those who have been shot, but they were still alive,
Ico gihe bapfa.
that's when they died. My younger sibling stood up
Sister tugende ntidushe turi bazima.
and she said, sister, let's go while we're still alive.
Agenda barinde bahita bamurasa.
When she came close to where I was, they shot her.
Mama we bakigenda.
My mom at the time, she had not been injured yet.
Araza ngo agiye kumureba.
She came and she was gonna look at my sibling.
Ahageze bahita baramurasa ku kuboko.
As soon as she got there, they shot her arm.
Noneho abantu sibwo bari bameze kubera ko
I don't know what was happening, but maybe it's because of fear.
ahita agumaho ngaho.
She was shocked, just stayed in the same place.
None nyibira navuga ngo nimuse mbajane tucari inyuma y'ihema kurama todo ukamutwara.
The Benjamini said, come, let me take you, let's go to the tent.
Nawe nico gihe wambonesha.
And that's what they shot him to.
Numva mwize ngo wacishe kumushirisha.
They shot him in the eye.
Numva ahita amuvurisha ngo ndahejeje.
And the person, they just said, I'm finished, I'm done.
Unahasiga ahamagara abandi ngo nimuzaneka duturirane amahembe yabo n'abasigaye bashi.
Oh, so the person who was shooting said, I'm done, and they just bring the gas so that we can burn the tent.
Ico gihe batangiye gutwika amahema
That's when they started burning.
ariko nje nkiri aho ngaho amahema yatangiye gusha.
But the tent started burning while I was still there.
Yatangiye gusha abantu bose baragenda.
It started burning and everybody left.
Papa yaragiye
My father left.
bagendana n'abana nje nsigara mu
He took the kids, but I was left. I stayed there.
kubera ko uruhande rumwe rwose rw'uburyo bari badufashe
Because of the way they had shot me,
ndabona ari gute guhaguruka ngo mbone ibindi.
I couldn't stand up.
Batwika amahema
They burnt the tents.
hasigaye amahema abiri.
Only 2 tents were left.
Ayo mahema abiri asigaye muri izo zibiri.
Amongst those 2 tents that were left, I was in one of them.
Iyo nigira inama yo kwikurura
That's when I decided to drag myself.
asohoka
I went out,
nciye inyuma
going through the back of the tent.
noneho inyuma y'amahema hariho ahantu bagenda bataha garbage.
And behind the tent, there was a place where they used to fill garbage.
hari harimo n'igisima c'amazi bageze bavoma yo guheza izo nka zabo.
And also a place where they got water for the cup.
Ngera hariya ndahagarara
I got there and then I stood up.
haza kuza umudamu iramaga Janos
One lady from the House of Assembly came.
ndamubwira ngo ndagufasha nsinda ashitse kwa sokuru aho ari gutuye.
I asked her to take me and bring me to where my grandpa used to live.
aravuga ngo tuzoshoboka nyawe naje bafashe urusasa ruri mu mutima.
She said, I can't help you. I've been shot in the heart.
tugumira aho twembi
Both stay there.
mukanyihaza mukamuyomba
And then my uncle's wife came.
mu mugongo
They had shot her in the back.
kandi we kera yavuye ngo yarahiye mu mutwe no ku kuboko.
Also, she had been burned her head and her arm.
umuhungu we wasigaye niwe wamuzanye amushiraho agasika twari turi nawe aramusiga.
Her son brought her there and then left her well, the place where we were.
nuko twaguma turi batatu
So the 3 of us stayed there.
aratubwira ngo iwe aragiye ngo ntashika agasanga abantu ngo mu gasantere araza kubabwira ngo yadusize hariya.
Her son said, I'm going into the center of the place and then I'm gonna tell the people of what happened.
tuguma aho ngaho
Stayed there.
n'akanya gato turagenda
And after a while,
aza kudutwara
they came to take us.
ariko aho ngaho nari mfite
But the place that I was,
hari urusasu rwari mu kuguru
there was a bullet that was in my leg
rwaza gutuma atabasha kugenda.
that was causing me, it wouldn't allow me to walk.
nuko baza kudutwara badusa kwa tugatabaza aho bari bari.
They came in and took us where my uncle was.
uwo twaje kubona ubutabazi
That's where we find rescue.
turaje ku bitaro
They took us to the hospital.
rwa rusasu rwari rwarupfuriyemo hariya
the bullet that was in the leg, they removed it there.
nuko twarokotse mu gatondo.
That is how we survived in Gatumba.
Mu bihumbi bibiri n'umunani
2008,
tumaze kugera hano muri Canada,
once we came to Canada,
ikintu cyambabaje
what made me so sad
nagiye kubagwa
I went to have an operation.
anko yari yasubiye muri Afurika. Charles yari yasubiye muri Afurika gukora ubukwe.
My uncle Charles was in Africa to have his wedding.
Ahantu nari ndi nijeje nyine gusoza Nyaburenge.
Where the place that I was the only one in
Tekereza ukuntu ngiye kubagwa mfite abana babiri batoya.
I thought of how I'm gonna have surgery with 2 little kids.
Navuga ati ningenda muri iki kigero gusimba.
I said, if I go through this, I might not survive.
Ariko ndashimira Imana ko ari
But I thank God that I'm here
n'abana be bazima.
and my children are well.
Ikindi kandi
Another thing,
munyihanganire ngiye kurangiza.
please bear with me, I'm almost done.
Ndashimira Imana ko abana batuze.
I thank God that my kids have grown.